In this video, I'll be going over the latest news about our third stimulus check of $1,400 and $2,000. So if you want to stay up to date on all things stimulus related, then be sure to stay until the end of this video. Joe Biden has reportedly okayed the plan for Senate Democrats to change eligibility rules to target the stimulus checks away from Americans with higher incomes.
Madam President, I ask consent to dispense with the reading.
Is there an objection?
Madam President,
Senator from Wisconsin.
reserving the right to object.
Is he allowed?
One thing that one.
Is there an objection?
I object.
The objection is heard. The clerk will continue the reading.
As the American Rescue Act of 2021, Section 2, Table of Contents. The table of contents for this act is as follows. Section 1, Short Title. Section 2, Table of Contents. Title 1, Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. Subtitle A, Agriculture. Section 1001, Food Supply Chain and Agriculture Pandemic Response. Section 1002, Emergency Rural Development.
The Senate will be in order. The clerk will continue reading.
Grants for Rural Health Care. Section 1003, Pandemic Program Administration Funds. Section 1004, Funding for the USDA Office of Inspector General for Oversight of COVID-19 related programs. Section 1005, Farm Loan Assistance for Socially Disadvantaged Farmers and Ranchers. Section 1006, USDA Assistance and Support for Socially Disadvantaged Farmers, Ranchers, Forest Land Owners and Operators and Groups. Section 1007, Use of Commodity Credit Corporation for Commodities and Associated Expenses. Subtitle B, Nutrition. Section 1101, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Section 1102, Additional Assistance for SNAP Online Purchasing and Technology Improvements. Section 1103, Additional Funding for Nutrition Assistance Programs. Section 1104, Commodity Supplemental Food Program. Section 1105, Improvements to WIC Benefits. Section 1106, WIC Program Modernization. Section 1107, Meals and Supplements Reimbursement for Individuals who have not attained the age of 25. Section 1108, Pandemic EBT Program. Title II, Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions. Subtitle A, Education Matters. Part 1, Department of Education. Section 2001, Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund. Section 2002, Emergency Assistance to Non-Public Schools. Section 2003, Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund. Section 2004, Maintenance of Effort and Maintenance of Equity. Section 2005, Outlying Areas. Section 2006, Gallaudet University. Section 2007, Student Aid Administration. Section 2008, Howard University. Section 2009, National Technical Institute for the Deaf.
Fellow Americans, do you know what that federal minimum wage today is? For that person who waits on your table at a restaurant? It is $2.12 an hour. Yeah, you heard me correctly. $2.12 an hour. And the proposal is part of the minimum wage bill, that amendment that I will be offering. That tip minimum wage will go up from $2.12 an hour to $14.95 an hour over a 7-year period, longer than the overall national minimum wage would go up. And this is something that clearly is desperately needed. Now, I know that here in Washington, at any time we bring forth serious and important legislation for working people, the big money interests get to work. And all of their lobbyists who make their 6 figures or 7 figures a year, they get to work on Congress and tell you why you can't do anything to protect the most vulnerable and hard-hit people in this country. So the National Restaurant Association, they are a very powerful lobbying organization. I guess they have been enormously successful because we've not raised the federal minimum wage since 2007. So this powerful lobbying organization is going around and they're telling members of the House and the Senate that raising the tipped wage is opposed by restaurant workers, and it would be harmful to the interest of waiters and waitresses and other people. That is not true. That is what lobbyists say, representing big money interests. That's what they are paid to say. But that is not what workers who wait on tables are telling us. One Fair Wage, an organization, a grassroots organization representing service employees, waiters, waitresses, and others, has just delivered to the White House a petition with 140,000 signatures on it from service workers who are demanding that they receive the same minimum wage as every other worker in this country. And polling among service employees and non-service employees also supports the reality that Americans want our waiters and our waitresses and other service employees to get a fair and equal minimum wage similar to what other low-wage workers are receiving. Now, I have heard from some who tell me that, people are waiting on tables, and by the way, I was one of the worst waiters in the history of the country, but I was a waiter a long time ago. I know a little bit about it. And I am hearing from some that waiters and waitresses, they're doing really well, making a whole lot of money, and they don't need an increase in the minimum wage. And let's be clear, when you talk about the restaurant and the hotel industry, you're talking about mass discrepancies in the kind of incomes that people receive. I will not deny for a second, my daughter worked in a fancy restaurant. She did quite well. So if you're working in a hotel, in a fancy restaurant where you have a menu that is quite expensive, you get a $100 meal, and you get 20% of it, that's $20, you're waiting on 3 or 4 tables, you're doing okay. I don't deny that for a second. And I wish those waiters and waitresses who work so hard a continued success. But let us be clear, not everybody works in a fancy restaurant or a big hotel which has a high-priced menu. You got a whole lot of people working in diners, working in working-class restaurants where the menu is not that fancy. And maybe it is $10 for lunch or $8 for lunch, and 20% of that is $1.60 on an $8 meal. And let us be very clear that when we talk about waiters and waitresses, some 70% of tip workers in this country are women who suffer from 3 times the poverty rate of the rest of the U.S. workforce.